I talked to our student athletes before the game was started. I told them this really is like Christmas. That's why I wore green today, because it's the opening game of Sunbelt Conference play. It's really exciting. It's what you work for. It's the tough preseason conference schedule. Heck, I'm looking at scores all day, and I see how since we played Texas Tech, they've just elevated themselves across the board. And it just reaffirms that the schedule helped us. And I say that because I know how well Gary's teams are coached, regardless of the record, that they were kind of come in aggressive, that they weren't going to lay down, and just understanding where we battle tested enough in some of those earlier games that we lost in close proximity, were we going to be able to stand that test, both whether it's home or away. And the team did. They battled all the way through. They kept fighting. They kept finding ways, especially tonight not have her best scoring night in the first half. Neither did Kira. To be honest with you, they both were struggling, but the team stayed with it, and the team rallied behind them. We found other players, and that big player for us was Talia, right? Talia stepped up for us, Talia Gibbs, and does what we all know she can do. She actually was our highlight in our pregame talk. We did a highlight, and she was that feature. She had a great week of practice, and so really proud of the effort. Excited to be able to start out at home with a win. I'm gonna let the players celebrate, because truly I'm gonna watch this game and move right into Monroe, because that's the nature of being in a conference play.
Yeah, Coach, with all the ups and downs, especially throughout non-conference play, what does a win ultimately do for this team's confidence going into conference play?
And that's a great question for them. As a former student athlete, as a coach, it's exciting, right? It's fun. They also know they didn't play very well, so I think that's also in their minds as well. That we didn't even play our best, and we've got more work to do. And as people scout, you get deeper into conference play, you're going to have to be able to make adjustments, and that's what we need to be able to do. But I know they're happy. They've got to be excited about a win, especially right now.
Yeah, Dejan, tonight, what does a win like this do for this team, especially with with all the ups and downs y'all kind of had in non-conference? Especially how y'all won this game? How does this kind of affect the team's confidence now going into conference?
It just builds it, and like Coach Z said, we didn't play our best, so we know that we can play even better. So it just gives us extra motivation to just go into the next game and just compete next game and in conference.
I'm sorry. I'm not. She took all my words, so you can.
Coach, outscored ULL 32-16 in the paint. I know points in the paint's been kind of tough this season. What do you have to say about that?
Which part's been tough?
Scoring in the paint, I'd say.
Okay. I'm going through my brain thinking to myself that we didn't have our scores that we normally do in the paint, because the one area that we have dominated in the paint is with Kira, with Angela Carroll, and then with our ability to talk to our guards about paint scores. We're not a phenomenal three-point shooting team. And so that's a number that I'm always looking at, right? I'm looking at our turnovers and how are we scoring off of creating the turnovers that we do. Are we scoring off of those turnovers, which we did again tonight, in those paint scores?
Coach, you said that Talia was a player that you highlighted before the game, but did you expect her to have this good of a game where she literally missed 2 shots maybe?
We all know she has it in her.
Okay.
When people, they have it in her. It's just the consistency piece that we've been searching for. With her, I can tell you she had a phenomenal preseason. I really thought she was going to be that X factor for us. She showed up tonight. This is something that she can do. Truly, this is something that this young woman can do. So, no, it's not a surprise. We've just been waiting to, she's a very quiet young woman. Mm-hmm. She's a gentle giant, if you will. So hopefully we've woken up the beast in her.
Sanaya, like Coach said, you did have a great game in the first half, but in the fourth quarter with 3 minutes remaining, you just get hot all of a sudden. What's it mean to you to just keep shooting even if you're not playing your best?
A lot. My team motivated me to keep shooting. I was in my head first half, and I just had to get out of it for my team because I really wanted to win.
Do you really enjoy those really clutch moments where it was a close game, you guys are down? Do you enjoy taking responsibility and just scoring and picking yourself up in that?
Yes, it's so much fun. I love hearing the crowd and my teammates on the bench.
Yeah. Deja, how did it feel whenever you saw that Sanaya was getting hot?
It felt good because, like she said, she was having a rough first half and she was in her head. And I told her to keep shooting. This is your half. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be the reason why we stretch out this game, and that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. Coach, I saw like multiple instances of like KP just like really bring energy to the court, just screaming after an and one, or just in general like providing a lot of spark. What does she bring to the team in your opinion?
Exactly what you said. She's an energy bunny on both ends of the floor, whether she's pushing hard in tempo or whether she's really just getting after it on defense, right? Getting those steals, getting to the free throw line. That's energizing plays in actually in basketball, right? Period. Especially when games are close and you're trying to stretch it out. We really appreciate that's what she brings in. As each day passes, she's maturing, and that's really what we've asked her to do. So I really appreciate that about her.
Coach, so obviously went into halftime trailing, but outscored you all by 11 points in that second half. What was kind of the message at halftime, and what do you have to say about the good execution in the second half?
So it's the defensive piece of it is what we talked about. A lot of times for us, the way that we are able to gain possessions is by doing a great job defensively, not allowing them to get to offensive rebounds. They had at half quite a few. We limited only 3 in the second half, so that was a big piece of it. All right, and that really did get the scoring going for us. We also did a better job of communicating defensively. I thought that led to some deflections, some stops, allowed us to set our defense up, and then gain those possessions that we needed to where we can push, regardless if he was in his zone or man-to-man.
Like Kyra, like you said, didn't score particularly well, but she finished with the most rebounds, I think, out of everyone, unless I'm missing something.
No, you're right. She's top tier in the conference.
Yeah.
She's averaging darn near a double-double. So that's the nice thing about Kira and Sanaya, to be honest with you, right? And Deja, if one piece of their game isn't going, they really work hard on. They don't necessarily go into a shell. They work hard on finding something else that they can do to help the team. And the thing that I found that Sanaya did, she kept bringing that energy when they needed it. She played unselfishly. She trusted herself. And then Kira hit the glass. I mean, she just kept hitting the glass, and she was getting mauled in there. I mean, I was fighting for her to get some calls because, one of the things Kira also does is get to the free throw line. And she didn't get to the free throw line as much as I felt that she, potentially could have. But she stayed on that glass, and that was awesome because that gained those extra possessions defensively for us.
And Coach, with all these young players, having to step up in some real starting roles and really big, key roles within the scene, how's this group kind of, just growing as players as y'all continue to move forward?
Day by day, Colton. I think about it all the time. So if you think about this, we have 9 transfers on this team. So Sanaya is one of 2 freshmen from last year, sophomores, and then we have 2 freshmen this year. Outside of that, everyone else is a transfer, and then we have, I want to say it's 6 sophomores and 2 freshmen. So you mix that together, that is going to take time. Battle tested, time, trust, we're going to get to where we need to be. And so I think we took one step closer by getting the win today. And this is a work in progress. You don't want to be playing your best basketball right now. You need to be playing it, a little bit later on. So I like where we are. I like that they've tasted what victory, feels like in conference play. And my hope is that we just keep growing.
And Deja, so now how does this team, continue to build that trust, with each other as y'all continue to go forward in a conference?
Just getting each other out of their comfort zone. Not nobody be lackadaisical any day. Because like I said, it's not our best basketball right now, but we need to keep getting better each day, and that starts with us on each other accountable.
And Deja did that at halftime. I heard her too. So I thought that was great. And she told them not, blank around when we get out there, like we're moving, we're going. So, right? She does what you need a veteran player with some leadership to do, which is great. She is holding him accountable. She's forcing herself to get out of a comfort zone. So all these things are really important. In addition to that, just the time we spend together now in the break is going to be nice because school is out. I think that's important too. There's a lot of stress, if y'all remember what it's like to go through finals. Yeah.
Yeah, so now what is it like having that, I know I asked this last semester, but what does it mean to have like a veteran voice in that locker room to be able, kind of like in games like this, being able to pick up the younger teammates and be able to kind of sell that confidence, especially, kind of like a game like, you're not having the best game, but being able to establish that confidence and you being able to do what you're able to do towards the end of the game.
It's kind of like having a voice of reassurance, knowing that we can do it, and like I said, she know how to do it, so she always give us our the little X's and O's that we need to execute on the court.
Yeah, Deja, we talked about Talia earlier. As a veteran player, what do you tell someone like Talia who may be a little bit more timid and not as assertive to kind of get her to break out like this?
Well, like I said, Talia, or like she said, what you call her, a small giant. She could touch backboard every day in practice. I tell her, you need to be touching the glass. After the game, I told her this is how you're supposed to be playing every single day. So like, just getting her out that comfort zone, and I tell her this at practice too. Like, T's real quiet, but with me, she opens up a little. I think so. So just giving her that confidence, because like we know she can hoop. So hoop, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's it.
Anything else, guys?
I got one more question. So, it's a tough league to win at. Home games mean a lot, obviously. I was looking up and down the conference standings. Everyone's pretty good at home. So, how important is it to get these 2 home wins to start conference play?
It's going to be really important for our program to be able to do that, right? So you have a footing, because then you go into a break and then bam, you have JMU after we get done playing Houston Tilton. So for us, it's going to be getting better every single game. And so we're going to break down film tonight, get it ready for the student athletes tomorrow, and then jump right into Monroe, because that is the next woman up.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.